Senator Joe Manchin has been in the news a lot uh, for obvious reasons, of course, blocking Joe Biden's agenda. Now, a lot of people have been wondering why. Wait, isn't he supposed to be a Democrat? I mean, vote blue no matter who, right? He's supposed to be a Democrat. Why is he? Why is he blocking Joe Biden? Why is he against eliminating the filibuster? Why is he against voting in favor of For the People Act, HR 1? What's going on? Now, Joe Manchin, as I've showed you before, argues that no. Well, I'm just trying to do bipartisanship, and I'm trying to protect the country from being torn apart. Whereas the libs, of course, will argue, okay, look, I don't agree with him, but maybe he's wrong, he's confused, misguided, whatever. No, I know the reality. Joe Manchin is corrupt. He has been purchased by the right wing. Lobbyists from the Koch network have purchased Joe Manchin through lobbying techniques. Now, this information comes from a CNBC review of an episode of a Koch policy group, Americans for Prosperity video series, along with ads, of course, crafted by the organization. Now, these ads were, again, launched by Americans for Prosperity, along with a website titled West Virginia Values, which calls on people to email and pressure Manchin to be the voice West Virginia needs in D.C. and to reject Washington's partisan agenda. It then lists all the items Manchin has promised to oppose, the idea of eliminating the filibuster, For the People Act, packing the Supreme Court, all the stuff that we actually need to do if we're going to get some progress in this country. And it also shows everything the group believes Manchin should oppose, including Biden's infrastructure plan, which of course fell apart, and the Union-Friendly PRO Act, which isn't going to go anywhere. Americans for Prosperity leaders took part in one of their video series with the West Virginia State Director in May, where they praised Manchin for voicing his opposition to abolishing the filibuster. Both Americans for Prosperity and Manchin have said they believe eliminating the filibuster would exacerbate partisanship. So he's, of course, using their talking points. The video was reviewed by CNBC after it was posted to the group's Facebook page. In fact, Ted Ellis, who is the director of Coalitions for American for Prosperity Government Affairs team, told the audience in this video, a wise man once said it takes a lot of courage to stand up to your enemies, but that it takes even more courage to stand up to your friends. And that's what Joe Manchin is doing right now. He is displaying a lot of courage, and we should applaud that. Our grassroots are critically important. It would be difficult to say that they are more important anywhere than in West Virginia because of the dramatic impact that our grassroots have in West Virginia, and encouraging Senator Manchin to stand strong on this point. Casey Maddox, Vice President of Legal and Judicial Strategy at Americans for Prosperity, said during that same presentation. Ah, yes. Grassroots. Again, there is no grassroots. It's all AstroTurf. Look at Joe Manchin's biggest donors. Mylan, which is the second biggest donor, and the largest donor to Joe Manchin, of course, is an energy company. Because of course, right? And so courage, no, not exactly courage. In fact, Ellis listed on a recent lobbying report as one of the Americans for Prosperity officials who in the first quarter of 2021 lobbied against the For the People Act and Biden's $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief plan. The lobbyists had targeted House and Senate lawmakers, including Joe Manchin. Americans for Prosperity also launched a radio ad in West Virginia that quotes Manchin himself, saying Democrats aren't for the Green New Deal or Medicare for all. The Democratic politicians aren't, but those two policies are actually fairly popular, especially with the Green New Deal. And Medicare for all, again, there's some differences on how you ask that question, but generally when you frame it in the way of, do you think we should expand Medicare or do you think we should have government insurance, people generally agree, especially when you pair things like it will save you money, because in reality it does. Even a Koch-funded study proves that this would save money going to a single-payer healthcare system. Now, that said, the ad also says to reject the partisan agenda that will host West Virginia's back, from meeting their full potential. That will hold, I'm sorry, West Virginia back from meeting their full potential. And so what's funny is that the people that are holding West Virginia back from their full potential are the conservatives. They're lagging behind pretty much every other state and a whole lot of metrics. They could do much better. Again, they're the ones that need infrastructure a lot. They need better jobs. Coal mining, of course, is dying, the coal industry. And you can't really bring that back. You have to invest and to bring in jobs that are, either equal or more valuable to the worker than the jobs that are currently there. And that, of course, does involve infrastructure, the energy industry, things like that, which they are not doing, by the way, not at all interested. In fact, they would just love to give coal companies and, places like that more and more subsidies to keep on an ever dwindling workforce that continues to get more and more expensive as coal mining continues to get more and more expensive. Now, not only that, but Heritage Action and other groups had also organized a rally in March in West Virginia that was meant to pressure Manchin to oppose similar legislation to the For the People Act, according to a watchdog group, Documented.net. And as a result, Joe Manchin, of course, does not back any of this. None of the the big Democratic priorities. Yes, he did vote for the coronavirus stimulus, but that's one of the few things that he has actually openly supported. The rest, he's hiding behind bipartisanship, which of course would never happen, especially when Leader McConnell says, well, we're just basically going to block Biden's entire agenda. Anything that would get past, a filibuster would have to be greatly cut, greatly neutered, and therefore would have very, very little effectiveness, especially in regards to the original plan. And they know that. That's why they're going this route. The Republicans are. And Manchin as well. Now, not only that, all this lobbying and all these ads that are being used to attack Manchin, you also have, as a result, Koch, the Koch brothers or Koch brother being defended by Joe Manchin. In fact, here's what he said. Quote, people want jobs. You don't beat up people. I mean, I don't agree with their politics or philosophically, but they're Americans. They're paying their taxes. They're not breaking the law. They're providing jobs. Actually, no, they're actually not paying taxes. At least they're not paying their fair share for sure. And that's because the entire Koch network, and I'm going to blow your minds here. The entire Koch network was created for one reason alone: to prevent the now lone Koch brother from having to pay taxes. That's essentially the whole point. I believe it was Charles that ran for president on completely eliminating taxes. That he would not have to pay taxes whatsoever at all. That's again the whole point. The whole point of all of these groups is for them to not pay taxes and not have to pay any money. And that's it. Now, they're also against the For the People Act, right? Which, of course, would not only make voter suppression harder to do, but it would also expose some of the dark money going to politicians who get money from the Koch network. So now that looks bad for the Kochs, obviously, or the Koch network, I should say, because, oh, look, here's this company buying off our politicians. We hate that. And then, of course, the politicians, it's like, well, I don't want everybody to know that I'm being bought off by this giant corporation, because that looks bad for me. Because it turns out most Americans are against corruption. And so you can see why, of course, Manchin and the Koch network would be against this. Because again, being bought out, not exactly popular with the American people. And neither is, by the way, is being paid, lobbied to stop popular policies from being enacted. Who would have known, right? So, yes, Joe Manchin, corrupt. Now that corruption, of course, pays well, but it's not very popular with the people that you're screwing over. And there's really not much I can add to this. Joe Manchin's not stupid, He's not standing up for democracy either. He's just corrupt, another corrupt politician, just like many others. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.